This episode of the Royal Insider is brought to you by Covenant Health. Covenant Health, the official sports medicine partner of Johnson University Athletics. Welcome to the Royal Insider. I am your host, Brandon Perry, and the athletic director here at Johnson University. And today, let's start off with some sadness. My Cincinnati Reds this week, they went down. It was sad.
Well, they lasted longer than my Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, so. That is facts. That is facts. Which honestly just brings me complete joy. Most people in Tennessee, especially where I'm from, the Tri-Cities area, they are Braves fans, which is what made me be an anti-Braves fan. I was clinging to some hope, some magic that was going to happen with the Cincinnati Reds, who cannot score a run. I thought maybe there is a shot here that something great was going to happen, but it did not. It did not.
Well, I've been having to sit here and listen to my friends who are Brewers and Cubs fans, and they've been playing each other, and they've just been going back and forth. And I'm like, I've been out of this for a while, guys. It was a really bad year for the Braves.
Yeah.
But
here we are. Yeah. Here we are. So who are we rooting for now?
I think maybe the Tigers, maybe.
Really? Or aren't they they're about out of it, aren't they?
Yeah, but
okay.
I always like a good underdog story.
Okay, you want the comeback, huh?
Yeah, I love the comeback story.
Okay, that sounds good. I do root for the Phillies a little bit, even though it makes no sense, but just because I've been to a couple of games, I like that park. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So, and they beat the Dodgers. That would make me happy. Doesn't seem likely either at this point, but yeah, there we are. Just catching you up on the wide world of sports here at Johnson University. So, well, today's episode, we're going to do something a little bit different. We talked about this a little bit last week. We kind of did the reverse. Addison hosted the pod last week, did a much better job than me. I did not demote her, even though she.
I'm not sitting in the seat today.
Yeah,
so
she claims that she was going to be demoted, but that is not what took place. Just so we all know. No, I think we're in this weird time frame in between. We really want to do a preview for basketball. It's just too early at this point. So we had this kind of gap period where we want to talk about some things that had happened. So this week, we're actually going to talk about our facilities here at Johnson a little bit. Next week, we have a special guest coming on, Mark Nelson, who was actually my pastor here at the church when I moved to Knoxville. And to be honest, his influence was a huge part of how our athletic department came to be, and just the philosophies and some ideas that I learned from him about neighboring and community is really what we put into this program. So I think it'll be an interesting talk to just spend some time with Mark. So that'll be next week. But again, we're going to focus this week a little bit more on our facilities and what we have here at Johnson. Just FYI, last night I was traveling back. I went to Raleigh, North Carolina. I spent some time with one of our alumni, Wes Moore, at NC State. He's the women's basketball coach there. I got to go and sit in one of his practices. I am sad to announce that his office is nicer than mine. I know that is a shocker, somebody who's been to the Final Four and is a pretty big deal in the world of coaching, has a nicer office than me, but he does. And
I bet he's not the host of a podcast, though.
Oh, probably not. Yeah, that is true. I would imagine he has people to host his podcast for him, but whatever. I do have Addison Lafayette, Logan Galbreath here, and they do a fantastic job. But I bet he has more people.
Probably, if I had to guess.
Yeah, but it was a really good trip. And I was coming back from that trip. I dropped my kids off in Johnson City with my dad and my sister. Actually, we're kind of tag teaming watching my kids this weekend. And I picked them up, and my dad looked up at me and said, "So why did you start a podcast?" Which I thought was pretty funny. And obviously, I just want to do more work. That's really what it's about. No, it's about we want to get our name out. We want people to know more about who we are. And as we were talking, my brother-in-law said, why don't you do like something on facilities? So we were talking about how on earth could I even possibly do something on facilities when a big chunk of this is audio, right? So today we're going to attempt it. That's what we're doing. We're just going to attempt it. We'll see how it comes out. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. Just open it up, watch for a little bit, and give us some likes and some views. And then we'll go on about our business, and we'll get to better things with Mark next week. Yeah. But no, I think it is a worthwhile thing, because what I also want to do is not just talk about the facilities that we have currently, but what is our future look like? What are we like planning on? And kind of paint a picture. Nothing to set in stone with that, but I want to paint a picture of what Johnson Athletics could look like facility-wise in the future, and just see where that conversation goes. Does that sound like a decent plan? Yeah. Logan, you're on board with that?
Yeah. I was also going to say this is a great opportunity for us to say, if you are one of our audio-only listeners on Spotify, make sure to check out our YouTube channel so you can get the full experience too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We don't have a video on Spotify, correct? So I know some podcasts do.
Sometimes we do. I think I've been trying. I think we might, but I'm not.
But you're not sure?
Anytime I listen on Spotify, it's always just the audio.
Yeah, every time I've done it, it has been that. But I've also not tried to pull up a video version. I am assuming you just upload the entire video. Obviously, we don't know much about our own podcast.
Yeah, we gotta educate ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we are piecing this bad boy together and figuring it out as we go. So, but yeah, that's what our show is going to look like today. But before we get into our facilities, what we want to do is just a review on what has happened this past week with the Royals, and we will do that when we come back in just a few minutes.
What does strength in numbers mean to you? At Covenant Health, it means we see nearly 2.2 million visits annually. It means our 13,000 dedicated experts are all working together for a common goal. With over 150 locations throughout East Tennessee, you'll always find an open door to care, because we are committed to being the first, best, and strongest choice for the one number who matters most. You. Covenant Health. Let our strength be yours.
And we're back, and we're going to take this segment to talk about the things that have just happened in the past week. Again, I'm going to be frank with you guys. We've gotten off on our schedule a little bit, so we might overlap some games here. I think we've got them all right, but trying to remember what we talked about last week and then moving to this week. Yeah, it was a little confusing, but I think we're good. So let's start off with our men's golf team. Had another big weekend this week, finishing in second place for the second time at the Koala Invitational. Is that right? Did I say that correctly? Yeah. So it was Columbia University's tournament, who was also in our conference. A big finish for the men's golf team, who are making a habit of these second place finishes.
Yeah, it's looking. I'm really excited, and what excites me the most about this tournament was our top guys that normally are like consistently top 10 in individual scores didn't have their best rounds.
Yeah.
So
really, that was back to back weeks.
Yeah.
That was the case. So
I feel like once we can get the whole team to kind of put everything together, it's going to be a lot of good results coming out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So big shout out to our men's golf team, and we'll actually talk a little bit about the golf team and our facility piece here in a little bit, and some of our dreams for what that is. But I think they are on a great path and a great track. Looking forward to the spring time frame to see like where are they going to be come this spring. If this is where they're at right now, it could be a really great year in just the second year of this men's golf program, or second year of Coach DeVault's time frame with us. We'll move on to men's soccer. 2 matches in the last week. that had mixed results here. So they split the games. First off, they started out with Milligan, a team that was in first place in the AAC, was preseason picked to win the conference, and they dropped that one 3-0. And honestly, we talk about soccer, we talk about scores. As a basketball coach, you love to score 90 to 100 points a game. 3-0 just feels so different to me. But 3-0 for soccer seems like it wasn't close, but that was a battle. I mean, it was an absolute battle from beginning to end. I was extremely proud of the effort our guys put in.
Yeah, it was definitely a good game to watch. I mean, I love watching both of our soccer teams play, but especially against a team like Milligan. The men kept up a good fight and didn't give up and just ended up losing it, and that stinks for them. But, it shows a lot from the beginning of the season to where we are now, and I'm sure you'll mention it in just a second, but their game on Saturday, I think that Milligan game on Wednesday really prepared them for Saturday when they played against CIU.
Yeah, I hope so. But I think the big thing for us is just seeing them play hard right now, and they are playing hard. Our record has not shown the talent that we have on this team, but I think they're really close to just putting this together. So hopefully they'll get that on track. They did turn it around in the next game for sure. Went out against CIU, Columbia International University, and come right out of the bat and just had a great game, winning 5-2.
Yeah, that game was intense.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a lot of
It's
fun
also
to watch.
soccer. They're all intense, right?
Yeah. It was just like, I don't know. I mean, it just kept going back and forth to the point where we were all in the press box, like no one was sitting anymore. We were all like, what's about to happen?
Yeah.
Like, it got really intense, but it was just a really good game to watch. And I think, as I mentioned before, that Milligan game really prepared them to come out and play and ultimately beat CIU.
Yeah, and then it was the funny part about that game to me was whenever they got to halftime, we were up 1-0.
Yeah.
And the final score ended up being 5-2. So that second half, like she said, I mean, it was just consistent. We were up. Everyone was on the edge of their seat the whole time. It was fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, it was big because I think we speak about both of our soccer teams right now and can say the exact same thing. Like they have struggled to score this year. That's been the piece. Like they're defensively, they have done well. It has just been putting the ball in the net and getting that first half, and it's like, oh, we're down, we're up 1-0, and it's like another one where it was really tough to score, to get it into the net, and then all of a sudden the floodgates opened up, and I don't know. I hope it's a good sign for things to come.
Yeah. For sure.
We'll move on to women's soccer. A pair of just tough losses for them. Two quality teams. They started out with Milligan last week and lose that game 0-1, and was a battle to the very end for sure.
Yeah. That was a hard game. I think, as you mentioned before, with our men's team, a lot of the same can be said about the women's team. The talent is there.
Yeah.
And they work really, really hard. I mean, you could even just tell in the game, they were giving it their all, and it just stinks to lose like that sometimes, especially when you are out there trying and you've been working really hard in practice, and I hated it for them.
Yeah, well, and especially tough because they pulled that game, and I be honest, I think that was one that they 100% believe that they were the better team and was able to go and get, and felt like it just got away from them, and then turned right around and get CIU, who is currently in first place in the AAC, and had a battle with them as well, and also lose that one 0-1. And it's like, just the women's soccer team has just had so many heartbreaking games, and right now it's just we need to catch a break.
Yeah. I think it's another one of those situations similar to the golf team where it's like we have moments where some things are working really good and then other things are working really good, but it hasn't fully clicked.
Yeah, it's got to put it all together.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it is. So, but hopefully we're right there at the turning point. That's what we hope. So, volleyball coming into this week has been on a tear. They had a lot of games coming, so we got 4 matches to talk through. But it has been an up and down week. They went into this week tied for first place. Was in a really good spot from the AAC. They started it out by winning over Bryan 3-1, and then followed it up with a huge game at Columbia International, who has been one of our top teams in volleyball for a minute now. And I believe they are ranked in the top 25 currently. If not, they're just outside. But they had a conference loss, so they're sitting in technically third place, I guess. And that was a big game, and we ended up dropping that one 0-3, and that was a tough loss for them. But our girls bounced back, pulled off a win the next day against another conference opponent in Spartanburg Methodist, win that one 3-0, and then go into last night's matchup against Tennessee Wesleyan, two teams that are battling towards the top of the conference, and a game that came right down basically to the last point. And we end up dropping that one 2-3. So a mixed week for the Royals for sure in volleyball.
Yeah. The Tennessee Wesleyan match was just another one of those nail biters. It was just two really, really good teams out there competing, and our volleyball team, we're down, I think, 3 starters right now. So to see the younger players step up and really fill that role and compete with these teams is really promising, and gives me good hope for what's to come for them.
Yeah. I mean, it is worth noting. I don't know who the third starter is, but we definitely had 2 injuries, major injuries against Union. Kirsten Bell in particular dislocates her ankle at one point in that match. Another rolled ankle to start that game even before the match played, actually during warm-ups. And that is really, really tough battle to have to fight through. So, I think hopefully this week is going to be a big week for the Royals, but that is last week and everything that we had going on. We will be right back.
Everywhere you look, you can find unexpected things that make you smile. Little reminders to care for your heart. At Covenant Health, we bring more heart to more places. That means more locations, advanced treatments, and expert physicians. Because we know your heart beats for more than just you. It beats for the people, moments, and dreams that matter most. More heart in more places for you. Covenant Health. Let our strength be yours.
Well, we're back, and this segment we're going to focus in on our facilities and kind of go through and talk about that. I do want to take a second before we jump in. Let me address 2 things real quick. One, I forgot to do at the top of the show, but I think most of you guys saw that we had a blooper reel that came out. I deeply appreciate Logan for putting that reel together and spending so much time making fun of me. I do want to address one thing in that reel. There was one thing that was so confusing, is that I'm doing this weird motion thing where I'm going up and down. I talk about my weight at one point, so I just want you all to know that was a challenge that with my son, who is 11, we have a goal of doing 100 push-ups a day. That is the goal. I'm sad to say that we have not done them anymore, but we are off our track.
Just so everyone knows, he was really concerned about what people were thinking.
I was because it's such a weird clip. It's such a weird clip that has no context.
That was the point of putting that in there.
I know, but I want the peoples to have context here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But yeah, we were definitely doing it. Judah wants to do these specialized push-ups where he pauses and holds it and then goes down and he holds it, and I'm like, no way, man, I ain't doing that. And he can do 4 if he does that. So I was like, we gotta use momentum.
Yeah.
So anyways, I bring up the blooper reel because we are totally winging this segment. I have a sheet of notes here. I'm not going to look at it. We're just kind of making this happen. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty of bloopers from this next few moments, right?
I hope so.
We'll see what happens. All right. Well, good deal. So any places you see weird cuts, that means we messed up.
And you'll probably see those clips later on.
The second thing I need to address, and I'd mentioned this at the top of the show, this segment comes from talking to my dad. I found out last night my dad watches the podcast. I don't know if he watches or listens. I have a hard time believing that my dad knows how to operate Spotify. Or that he even has Spotify. I just don't see that. But YouTube, I bet he does. I bet he hops on there and he watches it from time to time. So we didn't talk about it much. I didn't get any really feedback from my dad. So I'm now wondering, after 24 hours of sitting on it, if he thinks our show is any good. So, Dad, if you're watching, I need some feedback. Yeah. I need to know, like, is this good or not? Yeah. And if you don't call me in the next couple of days, I'm going to know that you aren't actually watching it and you don't think it's very good. So there you go. That's my two precursors to this segment, talking about facilities and why we're doing it. But yeah, this section is really a suggestion from my family to talk through. So here's what we're going to do: is we're going to take the first part and just talk about our current facilities and what it looks like. But what a lot of people don't know is, like, we've kind of entered into this phase 2 of facilities because things have changed. And so what I want to do is kind of tell you what we have here and what's going on at Johnson. And then from there, we will move into talking about the future and what we're seeing. None of this is set in stone in what we're doing. This is just me thinking out loud and putting it online. I don't know why I'm going to put it online, but I feel like this might be a good thing. So, and if you're somebody out there who wants to partner with us in making some of our dreams come true, here you go. You've got it's not written record, a recorded record of what we're looking to do. So, we'll go from there. Addison and Logan, you're going to chime in from time to time. Again, we have no plan. I'm talking this plan out as we speak. So we, maybe like you can ask some questions or something. Pretend that you've never been in our building.
All right, we can do that.
I will say, I just started back in July, so I had been to campus maybe 2 times before that.
Yeah, there's probably still rooms you've never been in.
Absolutely, I know there are, because I do sometimes go around and just see what key opens what door, because I'm like, what is in here? I don't know.
There you go. There you go. So in our post edit, what we're going to do is we have a video that is actually online. The full video is our whole campus. We're going to just kind of cut it down to Graham Center, and it will kind of pop up over top of us talking. We might throw some photos in. We're going to see how this thing plays out and decide, but we're going to try and give you some images of our facility if you've never seen it before, and then just kind of paint a mental picture as well if you're listening to Spotify. But we got to do that practice anyways as we move into what is the future of Johnson Athletics. So here we go. Let's dive in. Okay. First off, our facility was built in 2019. And as you can see, as this video starts to play here, it's a beautiful facility, 86,000 square feet. It is comes with a basketball arena, but also an additional rec gym that we use a little bit for practice as well. We have a 10-lane swimming pool, which I'm not sure shows up in this video or not.
I think it's briefly in there.
Yeah. In addition to that, all new fields outside were built in 2019. So baseball facility, softball facility, our soccer field was redone, and then we put in 6 tennis courts outside. Inside, you'll also see there's a cafe area. There is a beautiful entryway as you walk in. Really, that the vision of this space was this concept that athletics and recreation come together. It was really meant to be the social hub for for campus, and it's moved to that. It's taken it a minute. COVID totally disrupted everything and what we were trying to do, so we had to kind of come back and rethink a few things and work on that. But as you can see from a facility standpoint, it is incredible. Logan, you obviously played on the baseball team here. You've been in a few facilities. I've been in lots of facilities. From an NAIA perspective, how do you see our facility rating?
It's easily, and no bias here, it's easily one of the best facilities I've been in as far as just the date everything was built and functionality and everything. It's super nice and super well thought out and everything. And I don't think you mentioned we also have a great turf room for our baseball, softball, soccer teams to use.
Yeah.
And then also one of my favorite rooms, we have a game room too with pool and ping pong.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff.
You play ping pong?
I try to.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The first time I saw this facility is because we were coming to play pool.
Okay.
One of our other friends, my boyfriend, his friend.
Okay.
But
you want to give a shout out to your boyfriend now?
yeah, hey Carson.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
But he had come. Logan had wanted to show us the gym and everything. But we started in the game room, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Because every time I come into this building, there are people in that game room. It could be literally I got here at 9 a.m. this morning, and their pool tables are full, and 2 people are playing ping pong, and I'm like, that's awesome. So.
Absolutely. 2 other spaces I didn't mention. The weight room here is very nice. When they built it, it was 3 times the size of our current fitness facilities in 2019. So it was a big upgrade for us for sure. And then probably the most amazing room in here is the control center, where they do all the live streams for not just athletics, but also for chapel and several other things. I am going to shout out our media service team. Who does an incredible job. That space, it actually meets the indoor space anyways. When we do games inside, we meet ESPN3 standards, instant replay and everything. It is an incredible production. Our outdoor facilities definitely has a good production, but it's not quite on the same level just because of outdoor equipment is very expensive and very difficult to figure out. So we haven't quite got there yet. But our media service teams is second to none. And so impressed with the job they do. Stuart Large obviously runs that department and has been here for years, a good friend. And it's incredible. Incredible space.
I will just go ahead and say I have watched a lot of NAIA live streams. And the production that we have for indoor games specifically is second to none.
Yeah.
Like you said, ESPN standards, it's incredible. And if you've never seen any of our volleyball or basketball live streams, definitely go check those out. Yeah. It's incredible. So great work that those people do over there. And anytime I walk past that room, I am just bewildered because I don't understand any of that stuff. So I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is one of the things I will say. I get a lot of comments from time to time, like, why don't you do outside what you do inside? It is an incredible amount of money. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons. Yeah. And even more so than that is an incredible amount of manpower. Mm-hmm. And so when you watch what their team does with as few employees as they have, that is also just incredible to see that happen as well. It really, our facilities currently, it's beautiful in so many ways, so many levels. If you are a recruit out there and you happen to wander into this, I would tell you, probably even not just NAIA, but D2 as well. You're just not going to find many facilities as nice as this one anywhere at all. So we are incredibly blessed at what we have. But let me do this. We want to not just talk about our facilities of the past. We want to look at what's happening, because there are things that have changed, right? I mean, we've talked about that on the podcast already, that specifically with our soccer field. that we made some changes. We went from a natural grass field to a turf field in this last year, and changed a lot of things about that field. And it's part of a bigger picture. So let me go ahead and start right here. Let me set up what we want to do in the future. We're going to talk this out loud. Again, I have no plan. Don't hold me to any of this. None of this is like set in stone. This is what we're going to do. This is literally things that are just living primarily in my head at this point, and that we would love to see happen. Obviously, our staff have all talked about some of these things. Some of them we haven't yet, but I want to kind of throw it out there into the world, because I think this is a way that people can come alongside and partner with us. So
some of this stuff is going to be news to us too. So people might get might get a live reaction of our thoughts on what you're saying here.
Yeah. And I definitely want that live reaction because again, we're just brainstorming here. So I think that will be fantastic actually.
Okay.
Now we're going to be careful to not say anything that's going to get me in trouble here, by the way, but we'll go from there. Okay. So here's what happened. We got into this space, we built it, and what most people don't understand is that we were 135 athletes, at that time. We had just started when they designed it. So we just started growing, during the building process. I became the athletic director in the middle of the build. So walked in, day one, and they were probably about halfway done. With the Graham Center at that point. So there weren't a lot of things that I got to necessarily firsthand impact. There were a few things, but there weren't a lot of things. But what we ended up doing is we're sitting at right about 135, and then all of a sudden we really leaned into growth. And if I'm going to be honest, in some ways, and this sounds so backwards to say we're in an 86,000 square foot building. It is bigger than most of our competitors, but in some ways we've outgrown it. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't fit some of our needs.
Yeah, specifically, I will talk about the locker rooms. I mean,
yeah.
Right now our visitors' locker room we share as our pool locker room.
Right, so. Which is not uncommon, in the NAI setup. It just isn't. But some of our locker room spaces we weren't expecting to have teams the size that we have. And when they designed it, and now all of a sudden we're sitting here looking at it, and that's a need. To say the least. So let me back up. I want to kind of do this in an order before we get to the locker room thing, and talk about. I don't want to say this is a prioritize, but this is kind of the path that I see us moving in as we go forward. So the first step was soccer field, and we did already move forward with that, and we are fundraising. For that project, we went ahead and built it because the need was so big. We typically don't do things in that order at Johnson, just because we want to be stewards of our finances. But we went ahead and we did this one, and partnered with Baseline Construction, and was able to get full turf. We kind of redid some of our stands a little bit. We added a press box area. There's now I think weirdly, even though the field shifted a little bit, it feels like there's more space for fans to sit around the soccer field. I don't think that was ever really our intent. It just kind of happened, and that was great. Added some new goals, new dugouts on their fields as well. So it really is almost like a brand new stadium. Oh, yeah. We still got a archway that we're going to build, and then long term we're going to fence in the space as well, just to kind of help control some crowd needs there, and in off season stuff. So I think really the soccer field is probably at a good place right now. I feel like there's not much more that we want to do at the soccer field. There's some little things here and there, but that's where it is, and probably where it's going to stay, other than we are continuing to fundraise for that project, and specifically looking for naming rights. Anyone that's out there that would be interested in putting their name on a field, that is something that we definitely want to talk about. So that was phase one. Phase two has been kind of a tricky one. Our weight room, again, we came in and we're 135 athletes. Now we're sitting at 270. That weight room was built with the concept of this is for the community and athletics. And as we have grown, we have realized that does not work great. Yeah. And so it's been a little bit of a problem. If you want to go in there and lift as a regular student or as somebody in the community, it's been hard.
Yeah, well, especially with, almost every single team, especially right now, is wanting to do workouts in there and trying to schedule multiple different teams and give time for students and faculty and whoever else to use it is a struggle sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. And some of that has to do with our academic schedule, and it's a little bit different than a typical college. We don't have classes, typical scheduled classes on Mondays. So that makes our classes longer on Tuesday through Fridays, and it backs up our practice times because we do that. And what's happening is you're seeing a big influx of people or of athletes trying to work out in the morning at 6 a.m. And then a huge influx of practices and workouts and everything going on. It starts around 4 o'clock, which again, in a typical athletic space, you're seeing athletes starting practices closer to 2, maybe even 1. But that's not happening here. And so for us, we're trying to figure out how to navigate that. So probably the next big one we've just got approved, at least partial, is we're going to make some adjustments in our turf room. So we're looking at, we just ordered squat racks, and we have a few other things that are coming along with that. And we are going to line the walls of the turf room, which is about the size of a basketball court, maybe a touch bigger. We're going to align that with squat racks and all the weight and all the stuff so that we can start doing team workouts in that space where just athletics kind of goes in there and does workouts. That's the ultimate goal. Now, I think long term, there's some other things that come along with it. So, Logan, you would appreciate this. I believe our big plan is we'd love to try to get our baseball and softball team who use that space for a practice space, especially during rainy times, cold times. We want to try and get them out of that space. Not to boot them out, but we want to give them something new, something different. So we have started exploring what does it look like to either do a combo baseball, softball practice space. Again, I don't have a real vision for what that looks like, or they have their own individual spaces. Right now, the two teams come in there and they go to practice. There's 2 tunnels in the turf room. 2 tunnels is not enough for the baseball team, let alone the softball team and baseball team. So you got 40 players there, probably. How many of them are pitchers at that point? Probably 15-ish.
15-ish, yeah.
So you're looking at 20, 25 kids trying to go through and hit all at one time. That doesn't work great with two spaces. So, what would it look like to move those guys out of the turf room and into their own facility, whether it be like a full-on indoor facility, but more likely more of like an indoor-outdoor kind of setup. I've seen a few that I really like that can be open air and would work for that purpose.
Yeah, for someone who was a former athlete here, I just know that would mean the world to these baseball and softball players, just because having to try and schedule between the 2 cages in there, and then on game days, you've got opposing teams wanting to hit in cages, and we've got 2 outdoor cages, and they're both at the far corner of the baseball field. So realistically, we've only got the 2 inside. Yeah,
and those were both dedicated. I mean, they're baseballs. They're not. We don't have any for softball, so it was kind of a misstep, if I'm being honest about it. And we want to kind of remedy that. completely. If we can. So I would love to do that. I would love to be able to do them large enough to where we could put an infield. Even in them. I mean, obviously you can pull nets back and uncover and stuff along those lines, but that's what we're looking for, I believe, and trying to figure out what does that look like. In addition to that, we're also some of the same issues we had on the soccer field we are having at the baseball and softball field, and we started with the soccer field because theirs was probably a little worse, but the other two fields are showing some wear and tear too. So one of the problems was these fields were built in an area that was very rocky, and they just do not drain well. So we believe, I believe 100% that at some point all three fields have to be turf. And so we are also exploring what does it look like to turf those two fields. It's not cheap at all, so that's part of a fundraising process that we have to go through. But we are definitely looking to make that happen. In the future.
I do know. I actually just talked to our softball coach Dana Carter this morning, and she said they actually just received a donation to do a fence, like redo the fence. So I know they were really excited about that.
Yeah. So that's part of the dugout fence and the way it is. The dugouts were built, they're pretty small. So we're actually expanding the dugout space, the actual footprint. Again, no one, this is not like a knock on anyone who designed anything. Nobody thought through this. This was just the reality of our growth process. No one saw us growing to have these teams. I think the baseball team, for example, on a good year, we would have about 25 players, and now we're consistently about 40.
Over 40.
The year before I got here, I think they had around 20, 25 players on the team. And then my class, I think we were closer to 50 my freshman year.
It was. Yeah, it was. So you can imagine like trying to get that many bodies into a dugout, and it's tight. It's a tight fit. So we actually expanded the baseball dugouts last year. We were able to do that, and then this year we're doing that with the softball dugout as well. So that's been a big deal. So that one's been approved. It's already done, and not done. It's starting the process. So we're excited about that. In addition to that, I think we're also trying to figure out like what can we do with some of the seating areas. We need press boxes at both baseball and softball. We built one at the soccer field, and we need it for the other two. It's really hard to run a game without a press box. We've been doing that for years. So one of the things people don't know, this is athletic director at NAIA. This is how it looks, just so you know. For the since 2019, I have carried and set up a sound system for virtually every single outdoor event. Or at least either me or someone on my staff. I would imagine I've done most of them. Actually, if you could see, I can't close up. I have a scar on my head right here where I dropped a speaker on top of my head one time. I thought I'd knocked myself out. It was so bad out on the soccer field. That's what it's been.
And if you come to any of our home games for baseball or softball, you'll see that beside the dugout there's a little like bench picnic table, and that's where we sit and do scoreboard stats, and that's where our PA system sits too. So you'll see it at the game. Yeah,
even now it's a little bit better than it was, but it has to come in and out of the weather every single time. We desperately need a press box, which is not actually a very expensive build. That one is one that can be done fairly affordable. And we have plans. We actually have those already drawn up. They are ready. It just needs funding at this point. So we are beginning to work through that and what that looks like as well. So I believe those are the big things, baseball, softball. There's some other small things we dream about doing out there. But those are the things right now that we're looking at. With our tennis courts, I'm going to be honest, I'm not real sure on what we want to do with our tennis courts. We did add live stream capability last year, which was a huge thing that we couldn't figure out. It's really neat how it works. If you've never been and watched any of our tennis matches online, you can actually see each individual court. And in the system, you can like click on like, oh, this is the match I want to watch, and pull it up. That's been a big help for us, and that's been the big thing, I think, at those. We definitely have some wear and tear. We have some water runoff at our tennis court that is a little bit concerning, causing some cracks and some things along those lines. So right now, I think at the tennis court, there's not a ton of like changes that we're looking to make currently, but it's something that is on our mind.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know. I've talked to Coach Hale a little bit, and he's talked about mostly the drainage problem is the main thing over there, but then just little things. I think windscreen is on that list. Yeah. Just getting that all tidied up. But and then I know you mentioned earlier you were talking about some ideas for golf in the future on campus too. I'm curious to hear about that.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is one that Coach DeVault and I have talked through a little bit. I have not actually shared this. I don't think I've shared this with my administration. This will probably get me in trouble. Dr. Overdorf, if you're listening, please close your ears in this part. No, it won't get me in trouble at all. I just have not shared this yet, but I do dream of this golf facility. I've seen several of them. Obviously, we're not going to do anything that is like D1 elaborate. I watched a video on Tennessee the other day, and it is out of control. Yeah. We're not doing anything along those lines. But what can you do on a smaller scale? I think the big things that the golf team really needs, they travel about 45 minutes to practice every day, probably closer to 30, somewhere in that range. It is not a close trip. So is there a way to do practice on campus? Yeah. And so my personal dream is a small little metal building somewhere on our beautiful campus, which is very large. There's plenty of spaces to do it, that allows them to put up a hitting simulator, or 2 or 3 potentially. I would love to have some sort of indoor putting green where they could practice putting. And then I would like to do something right next to it outside where we could probably build a few bunkers and do just short game things. Yeah. And even if that is an outdoor turf green. And honestly, that is not an expensive build. Yeah. This is my call out here. If you love golf and you seen what Coach DeVault has done and want to partner with him, I think you can do some really cool stuff that would go a long way that very few people have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I know as someone who tries to golf and enjoys trying to golf.
Yeah. I hear it's just trying anyway.
Yeah, most of the time it's just trying. But I think that would be, as if I were one of the players, that right there would just change the game for them for sure.
Yeah. Especially in recruiting too, because not a lot of schools. I mean, as you mentioned before, UT has an insane golf facility, but that's not feasible for everybody, and that's not realistic. But I think getting something, even just like a simulator, would be really cool for them. Because again, who wants to drive 30, 45 minutes every single day to practice?
Yeah,
and then drive that back. Like that's not always fun, but yeah, and especially just with the growth that our golf team has had over the last 2 years. I mean, going back-to-back winning second place in the last 2 tournaments, I think is really impressive.
Absolutely. Well, I think it also opens up a door to do things that are like community-oriented, right? Mm-hmm. So what does it look like? My son, I don't know if this is ever going to happen or not. He's 11. He's trying to figure out, like, do I want to do sports? But one of the things he's talked about is, like, I'd like to try out for the golf team. Well, where do you go to learn golf? Yeah. Especially if your dad can't play golf. Like, I'm not any good. Like, I'm not going to teach. I'm an old baseball guy. I just swing hard.
Yeah. That's what I do.
So it's every now and then I hit one shot a day. That's it takes. One shot.
It just takes that one shot every round. And you're like, you know what? I'll come back one more time.
That's it. That's all it is. But, what would it look like to have a space that during the summer we could bring kids in and do a little camp or something like that and work on golf? I think that would be huge, not just for us as a campus, but a real gift into the community, to Knoxville. So, and Coach DeVault is such a good coach. I think it would be a huge thing for us. Mm-hmm. So, I would love to see that. I also would love to see our players interacting with more, local kids in that way.
We've got some great people on our golf team. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Would love to
Absolutely.
get them in the community more.
So I think that's golf. Does that sound like a decent plan to you, Logan?
I mean, that sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
To me.
And then that's really all the outdoor stuff. What would happen at that point is we would be able to move what is currently the batting cages and stuff outside, and that would open up that turf room to do one of two things. One, I think the one I would like to do more is to create a much bigger, a great space to do athletic weights and strength and conditioning that is more athletic centric. Our current weight room, while it is beautiful and perfect in so many ways, it's built more for a community. So there's things in there that, when I was coaching, my guys never got on the treadmills, for example. Why would they? I'm going to run the dog out of them. They don't need to do more running. So they don't touch that. So it's just kind of, for us, it's not been great space in that sense. This would allow us to do more focused training and open up that really large room to be able to do that. I think would be tremendous.
Yeah, and with the current weight room setup that we have a little room in the back for CrossFit type workouts, but you probably can't have more than 10 people in there comfortably. Yeah. But a lot of our teams now, especially with us being with D1 training and everything, we're doing a lot more medicine ball and weighted ball training for core strength and everything, and they're going into the turf room now to do that. So to have that bigger space to do more stuff like that too would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're already down the road on this one and starting into this project, and hopefully we still got a ways to go. We definitely have some funding that we need to bring in for this, and but I think it's going to be a good thing as well. And then I think our last big dream, and this is the big one, is to expand the back of the Graham Center. So when I say the back, it's the side. If you've been to where Graham Center is, the back of it, facing the tennis court, is kind of a horseshoe shaped. And what we would like to do is to open that space up, add on, and really expand our locker room situation at that point and our office situation. So we actually already have plans for this. Those designs are done and what it would look like roughly. It is a funding project, and it is a big funding project, just to be frank about it. So it would be able to give our baseball teams, soccer teams, our softball team, all their own individualized locker rooms that they can actually fit in. At that point, it opens up the possibility of some universal locker room space as well. It would expand our training room. Our current training room is not big enough for our athletic space. It is not. And really, the way it was built, it needs to be more of a hallway. It would be we would blow through that room and give our, unless you've been in our locker room, it's hard to explain that without showing you, but it would change the way the layout would look. So that room would be no more at that point, but it would give us some sort of just a connecting point right into this newer space. We would open up the size of the training room at that point. It would give our teams who don't typically have locker rooms, so like tennis, or future teams along those lines, a space to go, to be able to change, to be able to do some of those kind of things. It would, our current volleyball teams using a pool locker room for their permanent locker room space. It would move them back to one of the original locker rooms, one of the original 4 that we have, which would be great. So we will have basketball, men's and women's spaces, and volleyball. I don't mind to go ahead and just say this out loud. We do plan to start men's volleyball in the near future, so there would be a 4th locker room for them as well. The other big announcement that we're looking for is we're searching for a coach currently. Right now, I'm in that process. of trying to hire a coach for swimming. And we would love to start swimming in the fall of 26. That is the next big one. I'd really like to start men's volleyball in the fall of 26 too. I'd like to launch, technically that would be 3 sports this fall. But if we do that, they also need a locker room space. The current pool locker rooms are not big enough for their team, and they would definitely need space to be able to go in, wet space that would work. So we have plans to add on to the back of the pool these 2 locker rooms for men and women. They're, like I mentioned, all of those spaces there. The other big part of that expansion, and this is a weird thing that people don't know, we don't have office space.
Yeah.
Currently our office for athletics is just one big open room. Everybody has a couple desks in there. There aren't even enough desks for all of our coaches, not even all of our head coaches, much less any of our assistant coaches. Yeah. So being able to do this above the locker rooms, we would be able to expand the office space and actually have offices for our coaching staff, which would be pretty incredible, right? For you guys, that would be nice to have.
And just this year, the coaches have some sort of desk space and a computer at their desk, and just getting that is worlds. They're so thankful for that. So for each coach to have like their own space, I can't even imagine what they would would think.
So that's the dream there, is to be able to expand that as well. And look at it. So obviously there are lots of like pieces, but let me tell you why. And this is probably the biggest thing here is, I really have said this over and over again. I believe that we could be one of the top programs in all of NAI. I think we're set up for it. I think being in Knoxville is a big deal. I think we have already a space that would allow us to do that. These additions would only propel that. I really think our mentality, our philosophy is unique and special. I think it's attractive to recruits. And I don't know. I mean, I just think there's opportunity here with that. I really do envision opening or hosting opening rounds of the NAI National Tournament. Our baseball, softball team, they traveled to Gwinnett for softball, Louisiana Shreveport for baseball. What happens if we got our facilities to a point where we felt like we could host those here? What an incredible thing for not just us personally, but also all of Knoxville.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just, I think along with the vision we have for athletics, the vision for the whole university as a whole, to prepare our students and our student athletes for a better life with Christ down the road once they leave here, I think is another big thing of why we believe in our mission so much, and we believe in the vision of the university so much, and why we think these additions to our facilities would be such a big help for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for us, honestly, we believe no matter what your vocation, you are a pastor. One of the weird things, I actually explained this in a class the other day to a group of it was a freshman level class. I don't know if they even know this, but the concept of royals, the way our mascot comes from, is a passage out of 1 Peter that states that you are a royal priesthood, a holy nation. And in that passage talks about this concept that it doesn't matter who you are a priest, you are a pastor, you are a minister. Like, that is something incredible. We believe in that so much that we believe that we should train our student body, no matter what their vocation is, to approach it as a pastor would, right? That you have this mission of bringing wholeness, mending brokenness in the world, no matter what you're doing. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish, and I think this would be a huge part of that. I think athletics plays a huge role in making that happen, because honestly, we don't just learn in the classroom. We learn in environments where community comes together, and actually practicing the things that we say are important, right? And not just talking about them at all times. I know our professors believe in that and work actively to make that happen in the classroom, but we're also doing that here in athletics, and would be powerful. So there you go. That is a bit of a future in Johnson Athletic Facilities. I think there's a lot of like potential and hope there, and I hope you all do too.
A lot of good opportunity out there for sure.
Yeah,
for us,
absolutely.
Everyone else.
And again, I'll say this one more time: if you're out there and you're listening to this, and man, if you want to be a partner with Johnson Athletics, I would love to talk to you. And I think there are opportunities that can be mutually beneficial to both us and to you, to be able to help this vision of what we see and what we want to come true. And man, you get to be a part of building something. How incredible is that? Not many people get to do that, and to be able to look back and say, "Wow, I was a part of that," and what that became. That would be an incredible feat. So, man, I would love to talk to you. I'd love to sit down with you, buy you lunch, and talk through like what can this be? What can it look like? So, yeah.
All right.
What do you think there, Logan? Is that a good vision?
Yeah. I mean, I got excited just sitting here listening to all that. So, I mean, if all of that could happen.
Now, the bigger question is, did we paint a decent picture
I
for
think,
our Spotify listeners here?
I think we painted a pretty good picture.
Okay.
Of course, I'll go back and listen to this whenever we're editing and see how good of a job we did. But if we didn't, I might like put a little note in there saying.
Yeah. So I believe we are probably pressed for time on the length of this podcast because I started talking a lot. So we will not go and do our preview for next week. Let me just put this plug out for you. Download the Johnson Royals app. If you go to your app store, type in the words Johnson Royals. You can download that app. You'll see games that are coming up here. Also, johnsonroyals.com. Check us out on social media, Instagram, X, not Twitter, right? X, all the spaces that we are in these days. Addison specifically does a great job of keeping that stuff up to date, and we love for you to come check us out and learn more about us by connecting socially online.
Yeah.
What do the kids say? I don't really know. That's
Follow
pretty.
us, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
There you go.
Comment down below.
There you go. That's the things. There you are. Yeah. So that will be it for the Royal Insider. I am the host, Brandon Perry. Addison Logan here with me, and we glad you were here, and we will see you next time.